This was the most rushed 3.5-hour movie I've ever seen. It felt super rushed.
It's not Lawrence of Arabia.
I wish we had a little hat for this horse. That would be amazing.
Is there Greek in the movie?
Oh my gosh.
I asked you about this
I am
going
so
in.
okay. All right, so
Knock on Trojan
Jackson, this made me pretty livid. So I'm with Dr. Jackson Crawford, and we just saw The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. How you doing, Jackson?
Andra, moi, enepe, musa, polutropon.
Osmala Pola.
Hos, oh, I forgot the hos, yeah. Hey, still, that's not bad.
That is outstanding. And so, what we're going to do, what do you think? Let's do a little bit of non-spoiler review and then right into spoilers for this film.
But also, let's set the table a little bit. What's your background with the Odyssey? What have you read, and in what?
I've read 2 translations. I have listened to the Fagles translation, cited by the fantastic Ian McKellen.
I heard a little bit of it. It is great. So.
Yeah. And thanks again to Logan for keying me in on that one. And I've also read the Emily Wilson translation. And I've read much of the original, well, much, I would say 25% of the lines in the Greek. So I still have work to do to read the original. But it is a challenging text for those of us who do ancient Greek stuff. So, and yourself?
I have an Indo-Europeanist's exposure to the Odyssey, which is to say that I am constantly looking at lines in the Odyssey, but a lot of the same ones that Indo-Europeanists tend to cite for different forms. I have never read it in the original Greek. I was a classics major, and amazingly, I don't think I was ever made to read the entire thing.
It's long. Yeah. It's
This may have been the first time I ever read the entire thing, book 1 to book 24. And I read it in Swedish in Ingvar Björkesson's translation.
This past week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Good.
You enjoyed it? You liked it?
I did. So
do you recommend the original Odyssey?
I do. And if you read Scandinavian, I do recommend Ingvar Björkesson's translation.
What are your impression of The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan?
Well, it's your channel, so maybe Xenia means that you should start.
Oh, does it?
But I like I said, I have more positive than negative to say about it. I think a lot of people today think of cinema as, if you will, the true medium. Okay? I think that is what people want their messages through. And I think that people who are excited about the ancient world want to see this sort of hyper authentic, but it's usually authentic to a very modern, all trad is very modern, if you will. And I think people want to see that in cinema because cinema is what people regard as the true medium now. If you want authentic ancient Greek, read the actual original text.
Yeah.
If you want a modern take on the story, watch Christopher Nolan's movie, which I think is a overall good take on it. There are disagreements I would point to, which we will, in some of the choices that are made, but overall I felt positive about it.
No, very good. Well, I really enjoyed the experience of watching it, but I thought it got so many things wrong about what the Odyssey is and what the text means, at least my interpretation, that I thought, I was like, wow, this is... Well, we're going to talk about that because I'll get into the spoilers for the experience, not of the Odyssey, because if you don't know what happens to the Odyssey, well, I mean, I didn't know everything either. I mean,
does he come home?
Yeah, does he get home? Oh, yeah. Does he make it? But I thought it did a lot of things really well. For example, you may be aware of, you out there, of course, you already know, but the time shifting. That's a Christopher Nolan trait or characteristic in his movies, right? That he likes to have time shifting and if things are not quite linear. The original Odyssey is like that. I think the way that Christopher Nolan did it both does that the way the original does and in some unique Christopher Nolan ways, which does nothing but enhance both the storytelling and cinematic experience. So that particular aspect is fine. What do you think about the time shifting?
I thought that was quite true to the original. The fact that it did jump around quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the way that most people probably get exposed to the Odyssey is more linear than the Odyssey actually is, right? Because it jumps in at the end, pretty much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I actually thought that was quite true to both the original and to Nolan's filmmaking.
Yeah. Other stuff that's in the original, most of the major beats, if you're familiar with the Odyssey or if you've heard of the Cyclops, of Circe, sirens, a lot of sounds. What else?
But not in Greek.
Suitors. You got not a Greek though, but a lot of those are pretty much all of that is there, and there isn't very much as far as the major structure of the story that's been changed.
There are some big beats that are gone though. The Phaeacians, if I'm saying that how people usually say it in
Say it
English.
however you like.
I'm going to be all pedantic and say I don't know what this is in English, but the Phaeacians or something like that.
Yeah, I think Phaeacians is the.
Okay, whatever.
Like, do you know that Nausicaa is actually Nausicaa?
Oh, really?
Yeah, stuff like that. Anyway,
Well, she's not in it.
Oh, that's right, because the Phaeacians are not there. There's a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that was a big beat that was missing.
Yeah.
I understand. Like, oh, it's a waxwing.
Oh, pretty.
I understand the cut. It's kind of like Peter Jackson cutting Tom Bombadil. Not actually. It's cutting Tom Bombadil is probably more justifiable.
Maybe.
But it's kind of like, I mean, what does he do with them? He mostly just tells them his story. So you're just cutting out one of the many frames. I kind of get that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 3-hour movie. It could have been a 30-hour movie.
It should have been a 24-hour movie, or at least 12 hours in 24 parts. Like in Back to School.
Can you imagine
I have one
Warren
question
doing
for
that?
Mr. Mellon in 27 parts. 24 half-hour episodes, like I said in my my last video. Anime would be the best way. Did you? Yeah. So this is my recommendation,
Boy,
which is
that is a hot take
the
that I
only-
don't agree with.
the You don't like anime?
I do not.
We'll win him over, everybody, because there's some really good anime out there that is appropriate. Now look at this. Who is this?
I also forgot.
Does he have a name?
We have a
Wait,
co-star.
that's right. What's his name, by the way?
Hippos. Oh, that's too simple.
Hippos. Kairio hippe. Rating? On a 10-star scale. How many stars would you give it? Just as a movie.
Okay, I got to think about what a 1 is and what a 10 is. If you've got a rating, go ahead,
yeah,
because I got to think about that.
I would recommend this in different ways for different people. If you're someone certainly like me or like us, people who know the original, you may be disappointed or you may like it. I'm not really sure, and you may be like, huh, or what, or why would you do that, and be thinking that constantly. And if that bothers you, then you might not like it. If you don't mind that and are entertained by that experience, as I was, then I would recommend it. I would think that the non-classical nerd people, I would call them normies, might enjoy it a lot, especially normies who are also Christopher Nolan fans. Like you, I usually like Christopher Nolan movies like Interstellar, and of course the Batman trilogy. He did Memento too, didn't
Is he Memento?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
might have been his first movie.
Yeah, it was like his
That's
anyway.
25 years
he?
ago.
A long time ago. But I generally like his
Oh, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, of course. Yeah, so he's done a lot of movies that I definitely like or really like. And I'd say this is definitely not in the top of those for me, but maybe.
What's his best film?
Dark Knight.
I'll say Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer is also very good. I like Interstellar a lot too. Anyway, I think it's an enjoyable cinematic experience. I was hearing people saying that they might be bored like they were feeling bored in the first part of it.
it's not
I
boring.
wasn't bored at all because I'm constantly in my position thinking about how this translates from the original and what he's doing to portray his rendition of the story. And so I was very entertained by all of that. It's also beautiful cinematically, a little drab in the colors, but generally I would
That's
say
Nolan, and that's the style.
Yeah.
You know, everything's drab.
yeah, it's kind of lame, but at least 6 or 7 stars, maybe 6.5.
Okay.
I could be talked up or down either way. What about you?
Okay, I've got to establish what a 1 is and what a 10 is.
Okay, let's give us your 1.
1 is Guns of El Chupacabra.
Okay.
That's one of the
I don't know
worst
that
movies
one.
I've seen, or yeah. Anyway, it's on Riff Drags. Number 10, or a 10 out of 10, Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's good. That's a good 10.
Lauren was losing it over that. Oh, she hated that. Okay, so this was on that scale. 7.5.
Yeah, all right.
That's about right.
So I guess we generally say that This is a more than watchable movie.
Yeah.
It has a lot of, I was definitely not offended by anything. If so, it's nothing like, oh, I would, I could probably watch this again. In fact, I'm sure I will, because I'll have, I'd like to pick it apart and compare it to the original even more in the future.
I could watch it again in a year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, it's a good popcorn movie.
Yeah. Now, do you know the 1997 TV movie?
No, I haven't watched any other adaptations.
And I would definitely recommend that above this one as far as an adaptation of the Odyssey. One thing that this one definitely has better is the music. The music in that one is mostly like some synthesizer, like late 90s, like Stargate, like, and so it's just like, it's not great in that TV movie, but otherwise everything else, I think, treats the material much better. Whereas this is, there are more takes on behalf of the filmmaker here, which are not bad. A couple of them are ham-fisted, like the Sea Peoples. But now let's get into spoilers.
Okay, yeah, the like, we are going to put a hat on the Sea People thing and a hat on the Bronze Age thing.
I wish we had a little hat for this horse. That would be amazing.
We do have a hat.
That's too big. She's gonna fall. All right, so
Let's see if we can read our notes.
I can read my,
with the help of that Olight flashlight.
by all yes, the help
Olight
of
Ultra
where's
Baton.
where did I put it? Here it is.
Here, I'll
Wait,
help
no,
you find it.
I got
with
it.
my Olight Arc Pro
Thank you.
Ultra.
Here we go. I got it. Here's my right here. I love it with the moonlight feature.
That was very good.
That was
not
useful.
disruptive. Yeah,
That was fantastic. I can read my all caps, Loki like a crazy person on diagonals. Looks like something from the movie. I was gonna say Memento.
And we were occasionally trying to show each other notes, and it didn't work well. I was like, what did you write?
Yeah, what did you write? What's my terrible handwriting? Okay, so
What freaking language is this?
should we?
You start, because you wrote more at the beginning. I was pretty dedicated to popcorn.
Pop.
We still have some.
Oh, that's right. Get out the popcorn. Show them the popcorn.
It comes from the loins of the horse.
Just like Greeks, beware Trojan horses bearing popcorn.
I love those.
Let's see. What's the Latin of that?
delights
From
me.
the Aeneid. Timio equos et maesdium ferentes. Almost made it Greek.
Hey, so broader point here. A lot of what we saw on the screen is not in the Odyssey.
Right.
Right. Everybody always brings in the Trojan horse thing, which usually the details for that come from the Aeneid. Now, there is the lost epic poem. I was about to say Homeric. That would be a controversial thing to say, but of Homeric generation, called Perses.
Yeah.
We actually don't know the entire contents of that, but that did describe the destruction of Troy and the Trojan horse, apparently. We have a summary of it made by, what's his name, around 200.
I don't remember.
What's his name?
I don't recall.
Probus or something.
Yeah.
He wrote a summary of some of these lost poems. We don't have the entire thing. At any rate, all those details of the Trojan horse or whatever aren't in the Odyssey. The horse is mentioned once, the wooden horse, in some flashback, but they always want to bring in those little details.
Which is fine. I mean, it
Yeah,
fills out the story.
whatever.
They did that in the Troy movie. I'm not, if you're gonna, it's fine. And the Trojan horse and Odysseus's participation is very important to, I think, the character.
And they bring in a little bit of the Orstea.
Right. Oh, yeah.
We don't get all those details in the Odyssey.
Yeah, they're mentioned a lot.
They're mentioned
when they go
Orestes
to Sparta.
Yeah, Agamemnon, Orestes, Clytemnestra, they're mentioned, but you don't get on screen, as it were, in the Odyssey. You don't get the murder of Agamemnon.
No, but it's related in fair detail by Menelaus. Oh, now we're about to go out. I was going to go in order, but now I want to go out of order.
One thing I was
not like this Menelaus. Go ahead.
Mildly delighted by, sort of, was there's actually a credited Iphigenia. That baby is credited.
Right. Yeah, there's an Iphigenia, however you want to pronounce that. Because both make sense. Just like...
that was sort of a dark favorite point of mine. Like, oh, wow, they actually credited this baby that they murdered.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why... Actually, all right, I'm going to go out of order. That was one thing I really liked, how Clytemnestra, the brutality with which she kills Agamemnon was quite visceral, and the sound especially, like, Christopher Nolan is very good with sound, unless it's people talking. When it's people talking, it's sometimes hard to understand, and sometimes if he's writing the dialogue, he's not in the George Lucas tier of dialogue writing.
I thought that we had decided not to fall in love.
I truly, deeply love
love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space.
Love, Taj, love.
But he's
But it's not Lawrence of Arabia.
he could have used someone given it another pass, I think, to make it a little bit more. I don't know. My personal preference, I suppose.
By the way, I'll
Yeah.
answer an observation. I'm a Oresteia stan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
actually.
a great trilogy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get out my lust for vengeance through fictional characters. But I actually appreciated the handling of that material. I'm not saying it's bad that it's brought in. Part of me was kind of
Oh,
like,
good. No, I thought it was.
Aeschylus, right? But,
Yeah, no, I thought it was appropriate, and it's mentioned at least in 2 or 3 separate occasions in the Odyssey, and that Telemachus and other characters and Odysseus are concerned about the comparison between Agamemnon's fate and the fact that Clytemnestra was unfaithful to Odysseus, having that further like, oh no, I think is it Tiresias in Hades who mentions it, maybe the second time it occurs in the Odyssey, saying like, hey, this, just so you know, you should probably get home.
hey, while we're talking about Hades and jumping around a little bit, there's no Achilles.
Yeah, Achilles.
Nobody even plays Achilles.
Nope, no
That's what I can
Achilles.
tell.
No, we have the Sinon character who ends up mostly taking the place of Tiresias in Hades. Characters in the Aeneid, right? Am I remembering that right? But all of that was fine. It was mostly just to deliver the message of what needs to be given to Odysseus and Hades especially about the way home and what to do. But okay, wait a minute. I'm going to start reading notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, I thought the Hades scene was the height of the movie. I thought that was super well done.
I thought it was well done. I would have preferred a Hades more per the Odyssey description of it, as far as the people he encountered and
Sure. I would have loved
his
to see
mother.
Achilles.
Oh, his mother was not in it at all. There's no Anticlea.
True. But also Achilles. Achilles has great lines.
Achilles has great lines.
I would rather be a swineherd in the poorest kingdom of earth than a king among all the shades in Hades, right?
Yeah.
He say something to that
That's
effect?
That's a great proverb.
I mean, it's rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know.
It totally is. So yeah, but otherwise, I thought the depiction of it, and that was filmed in Iceland.
Iceland.
Yeah, with nice black sand on the beach. It looked the lighting was really low and foreboding, and
Which
I liked a lot of that. Yeah.
did not look like Greece or the Aegean.
No.
It is okay for hell to not look like Greece or the Aegean.
Yeah.
It's okay for that to look alien. There were a lot of places I didn't think looked much like the Aegean, though, that I felt like could have.
Yeah. You know what would have helped that? Filming in the Aegean.
Which, yeah, I mean, actually, that may be something that I feel like is a little bit of a missed opportunity here. That it's such a beautiful place where this is all supposed to have actually taken place. Why not use more of that?
Yeah.
It's going to make.
Why is this?
billions
Can you
of
please
dollars,
tell me
right?
why it's a Viking ship? Because that bothers me. It's like,
So I know guys who rode that ship.
that's great. You want
Well, this is my favorite Viking movie ever.
to
That should be-
shout him out
that should be my
if you want.
plug.
If you remember.
No, when we were we were with the Grimfrost guys at this Viking village that they're building in Sweden in summer of 2025, and they have a bunch of Viking ships, and a bunch of the guys there, I'm not going to remember their names all individually. There was a bunch of them said, "Oh yeah, we just got back from rowing these for a Christopher Nolan movie." I'm like,
So do you know why it's a Viking ship?
no, it doesn't look anything like a ship at the time.
No, it doesn't look like a classical Greek ship or a pre-classical Greek ship or an archaic Greek ship or a Dark Ages Greek ship or a Bronze Age Greek ship. Any one of those would have satisfied me. I would have even accepted Hellenistic,
Yeah,
Roman,
that
but
is-
a Viking.
That is a missed opportunity. When a movie, look, if I made an Odyssey movie, it would be low budget as hell, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
If Christopher Nolan makes an Odyssey movie, why can't he pay for a ship that looks more?
Or to have consultants. So this is something that I was thinking of while I was watching it. I'm very well versed in a lot of physics concepts, astrophysics, and other things like that. So seeing Interstellar, I really loved it because I understood what was going on. And what was the name of the physicist who advised him on it? He had an actual physicist advising him on black hole physics. So a lot of stuff that people didn't like about Interstellar was in part because it wasn't totally clear to them how the mechanics of what was happening with time dilation, which is fine. And for me, I loved it.
Tesseract.
Yeah, and the Tesseract and the these fourth and fifth dimensional things, like all that, like that was fine. I thought it was interesting being well versed both in the source material of this film and we'll call it the source material, the physics of that other film, how much less I liked this, because he didn't, as far as I know, have a consultant on this material, and I think it shows. And this is the stuff I want to
Was there no classic
complain about.
consultant?
Maybe there were, but maybe he was like, I don't care about your opinion because I want to talk about sea peoples, which I mentioned pretty early.
Well, yeah, and putting a hat on it is a little bit weird to me. I don't think they call them the sea peoples. I mean, they are
the
sea
Egyptians
peoples.
did.
Yeah, they are the sea peoples, probably, right? I mean, like,
Well, actually, I both loved and hated the sea peoples things. All right, let's just do sea peoples.
which the movie kind of calls out. The movie says, "Oh my gosh, we're the sea peoples." Well, okay, the sea peoples is a little bit of a retroactive designation, right? Not to mention a foreign designation.
All right, okay. So wait,
We're talking about what, 14th, 18th dynasty, Egypt.
I don't recall which dynasty.
I
But
don't
let's set
remember.
this up. So the Bronze Age was when civilization, it was like the first, what we think of civilization from, Sumer, the Assyrians, the Egyptians, Hittite civilization, the Mycenaean, early Greek civilization. And they all, as far as we can tell, had a pretty international trade, mass agriculture, trading different things and so forth. But it collapsed. And it led to what is known as the Aegean or Greek Dark Ages, which is then followed by the Greek Archaic, and then pre-classical, and then classical periods. But there's centuries where they forgot how to write in Greece, for example. And I thought it was a really neat idea. At first, back in at the beginning of the movie, I liked it talking about that there's sea peoples now. We got to be afraid of these people. And then at the end, they realize we're the sea peoples, that we're the ones that actually started this by using the Trojan horse and by breaking xenia, what's that? What we call that? Xenia in English? Hosts.
Guest-host relationship,
Yeah.
sacred hospitality. Well, they keep saying, actually, they probably say 18 times in the movie, Zeus's law.
Yeah, Zeus's law, which is fair. That was both neat and also ham-fisted, especially at the end. So let's spoil right to the end.
Touch ham-fisted.
What's that?
A touch.
It was both like, oh, neat. That was like 5 years ago when people were really into this idea, but other archaeological evidence since has been showing us that it was almost certainly part of the cause. It was either a cause or an effect of changes in weather patterns of agricultural systems breaking down and all other things that were happening. So the idea that literally I think they have all the words in the movie that makes this sentence. The Bronze Age civilization.
The word civilization is used.
Civilization is used, ends at the end of the Odyssey in this movie, due to the sea peoples who were the Greeks who used the Trojan horse, which broke Xenia, and then started breaking Xenia, which is why the Xenia is broken back at Ithaca. I like that. It's like, oh, that's really, I mean, I kind of always intuited that. I don't know if anyone told that to me before. That may be an interpretation that's current in in academia. But it was just literally spelling that out at the end. I was like, oh.
Penelope uses the word civilization, I think, twice.
Yeah, so does Tom Holland.
It felt off. It felt way more off than Dad and Mom. I didn't mind that.
Oh, that was fine. The diction was mostly fine. I think the real problem there was IMAX, because you know how much film you get with IMAX?
Oh, only a few minutes at a time.
3 minutes.
Right? Yeah.
So they had these cuts. It looked like it was cut by the same people who cut the Suicide Squad.
I never saw that.
You're lucky you. Not the Suicides, but just Suicide Squad. The original one that was cut by an ad trailer company, which is why it's so like cut, instead of having longer pieces, instead it's constantly switching back and forth. This was the most rushed 3.5 hour movie I've ever seen. It felt super rushed.
It's not Lawrence of Arabia. But like, I'm going to get all John Chadwick on you here and say, I think there's probably more continuity between Bronze Age Greece, Dark Age Greece, and Classical Greece. I think that these notions of like clean collapses, apocalypses and post-apocalypses tend to be retroactive. I think following John Chadwick, I'm not sure that they actually ever forgot to write entirely. I think that there's probably a generation that's like, oh, screw linear B, we've got an alphabet now. Like I don't think there's a generation that just completely stops writing. It is interesting that Matt Damon at one point in the movie says, because songs will be all they have to remember those who could write. They don't write anything in the movie.
Yeah, there's no
linear
writing
beat.
in the movie, and there's no writing in the Odyssey. It's one of the ways that we can tell it was certainly composed.
Homer doesn't refer to writing.
No,
Yeah.
never refers to writing, as I remember. Messages, yes, but not
And
writing.
also, I don't get the sense from Homer, like, yes, it's nostalgic for, that's another word we could talk about. It's nostalgic for this Time of Heroes, but I don't get the sense that the Time of Heroes is ending in the Odyssey. The Odyssey has a sequel. According to, again, that Roman who wrote the summary of those lost epic poems.
Oh,
There's
right.
something called the Telegony after
Oh,
it,
right, yeah.
right?
That's Allegheny, yeah, you're at that town.
Which Odysseus had a son with Circe in that, I
Oh,
think.
wow, that's weird.
Is it Circe or Calypso? I think it's Circe, actually.
Really, not Calypso.
I think it's Circe. And he goes to the kingdom that, and his name is like Telegonos. He goes to the kingdom that he now rules, marries somebody else there, although he also brings Penelope with him. It's weird. Like, it's not canon exactly, right? It's not, the ancients didn't regard it as the work of Homer, but it's like pretty ancient fanfic.
Yeah,
Like potentially Bronze Age fanfic, right?
I'm okay with that. That's interesting.
They did not draw on that. That is not how the story ends.
No, wait a minute. Let me go back to the beginning. I thought it was ironic that they made the letters of the Universal logo at the very beginning look like the Bronze Age bronze armor, and yet none of the armor in the film actually looked like Bronze Age armor like the Universal logo.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought that was, it's like having a Viking ship not filming in the Aegean. It's like, what's the point of making this look like this? Why can't it, it doesn't look bad. I think it's certainly pleasant to look at.
Why nod at it and not just go whole hog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea, right at the beginning, there's this little title, like, in a time of apparent magic. And I was irritated by that because I've made this mistake too, speaking about these topics. It's supernatural stuff. And as far as now that I've seen it, it seems like, because Athena is there, and there was not nearly enough Athena. Athena is a major force throughout the whole Odyssey, and she was just kind of showing up as if it was, Matt Damon. Odysseus was having PTSD and was imagining her.
Or is she Mentor? Because Telemachus keeps saying, I think he says to Mentor twice, you have Athena's eyes.
Yeah, well, Mentor is, in the very, very end of book 24, Mentor is actually Athena talking to the main characters.
So it's kind of left up to you. I don't think the Athena's eyes thing is in the original. I think that's actually Nolan trying to get you to wonder, would be my guess.
With Mentor? The character Mentor?
Yeah, is Mentor Athena, yeah.
I don't know.
Although, when Odysseus shows up, finally, Telemachus says he has Athena's eyes. So.
Yeah. Not nearly enough supernatural stuff for my taste, because it's the influence of the gods is throughout the original. I like the original. I'm sorry. I know 24 animated episodes. That's the way to do this. Anime style is probably the best because it's gory.
24 live action episodes in ancient Greek. Is there Greek in the movie?
Oh my gosh.
I asked you about this
okay. All right.
Knock on Trojan
Jackson, this made me pretty livid. So there is a point where Odysseus and his crew, look like they're just they're coming back from Troy, and they're sacking some village. This happens in the original, something to this effect, at least a couple of times. They're usually allies of the Trojans, like the Sicanies, which we should talk about. And and then they have someone translating. I think it's actually Eurylochus who's doing the translating, which is odd. And this foreign person, this non-Greek person, is talking to them in Greek.
So
modern Greek.
I wondered if they would do. I actually told you on the way to the theater. I said, "What if they do something like that?"
I was expecting ancient Greek. It was just plain modern Greek.
I wasn't.
I heard Kani. I heard Kanenan, or Kanen, whatever was Kanenan, the aorist.
This happens all the time in Viking movies.
They'll use Norwegian or Icelandic.
Yeah, but it'll be in a weird place. So like there's this movie called Outlander,
yeah,
where there's an alien that comes to Earth during Viking times, and the alien language is Icelandic.
that I
What are we doing here? Why, again, it's kind of like the bronze and the universal logos. Like, what are we doing? Why are we nodding at this without putting it in its proper context?
so as I was becoming a real Phil Helene, because on behalf of Greeks, I was profoundly offended by this, because Greeks are really annoyed by basically the Northwestern European interpretation and tradition of the classes, mostly coming out of the UK, and we have a lot of it in North America too. And Faria Faraghi, by the way, has a great commentary on this. You see his video about that, because I think he takes it on really, really well, certainly from the musical and cultural standpoint. And Greeks are just annoyed in general. In fact, the state of Greece is annoyed by this film, because it just doesn't seem to be any attempt to represent Greeks or Greece. And when you're watching it, when I was watching, I mostly forgot about that until they had a foreign, non-Greek person speaking modern Greek. And that I just know what Greeks are going to say. They're just going to say, look, there is another person trying to represent something that's important to our cultural heritage and trying to make it seem as if Greeks are not really a part of their own culture or heritage.
Which, by the way, there's a whole weird strand of internet racists that are actually really into that. I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's intent. But
No, I don't think it's his intent. I think it's accidental, and I think it's tone deaf and careless.
Yeah, careless, not malicious.
No, I don't think it's malicious.
Does Polyphemus speak Greek? Because when he turns his back and he's muttering, I couldn't tell what he was saying in any language. What was that? I couldn't hear him.
That whole scene was both awesome and terrifying, and I also hated it.
They did a good job making it really terrifying.
Yeah, I loved it was terrifying, but I thought it missed the point of the whole interaction.
Yeah, there's no conversation with Polyphemus, who, like, is he scarier that way? I don't know, maybe. But you miss out on the Odyssey.
Yeah, there's no Utis, there's no talking between them. I don't think the movie did a very good job of showing the cleverness and of Odysseus in general. And this is, he does figure out the whole, like, okay, we need to stab him in the eye so we can get out. It was fine, but I was really, really bothered by that, because that's another example of xenia being violated. First, you have the Achaeans, the Greeks, going into the cave and helping themselves, and they're not being especially eusebis. What's that in English? Reverent or polite, we'll say, in this situation. But nevertheless, even if you have lousy guests, you still want to treat your lousy guest decently. And what's so interesting in the Odyssey is everyone in that cave, including the Cyclops, understands everyone to be essentially the same species. They're all men. They say that specifically. They're all people. And Odysseus says, you can't eat my people. You can't eat your guests. That's in violation of the law that Zeus has handed down to all men. And he says that we have no such law here. We have no laws at all here. Anyway, so that really bothered me that wasn't in the movie, because that's, I don't know. For me, it seems really essential to understand that it wasn't, because what he seemed like was just a giant animal, or even like the way a human would just casually crush or kill a fly or something in his house, which is an interesting take, but not at all like the original.
They try to kind of hand wave this, where someone says, "Oh, it can speak," and then someone else says, "Well, would you speak to ants?" Okay, ants don't look like me.
Right. The design was pretty cool for the Cyclops. I thought it was neat.
Definitely frightening.
Yeah, it was frightening, very frightening. A lot of frightening sound design, and I think the action scenes ended up being especially exciting or scary or intense, except the murder of the suitors.
Yeah, you didn't like that.
It was so lame. See the 1997 one for that. That was so much better in that TV movie.
Or see the original, which gets like trucking through time bloody.
Oh, yeah.
To draw on another element of the Western canon, trucking through time.
Details of how Antinous is murdered, through parts of the face. I won't go into more detail for it.
And not just him.
Yeah, and that's now. And I'm not interested in gore or that kind of thing, but there is the culture that's being represented is a mix between a Bronze Age culture and a Dark Ages culture, where there's a transition from it being an honor sort of culture going into this what is it called, the miasma culture, where you have this pollution, the soul that gets transmitted between families, like in the Oresteia. And so it's this in between thing, but there's definitely more of the honor culture thing and these other elements. And that's just because it just reminds me of Peter Jackson treating Lord of the Rings and trying to portray Tolkien's ideas and not his own or that of his crew, whereas as I wasn't getting very much that Christopher Nolan even understood those ancient concepts, because they're not natural for me, and they're not natural for, I think, for most people. I think most people who grow up in North America or Europe have been influenced by, ideas that have been coming out of Greek philosophy and out of Christianity for thousands of years about just treating the way we treat people. And there was, I think, a lot of that was in this movie where you just don't feel it in the Odyssey. Like the idea that you would not absolutely kill every single suitor because that's the right thing to do. That's understood in the Odyssey. That's the right thing to do.
Not to mention the slave women.
And also the ones that were connoitering and with the suitors and who betrayed Penelope. None of them are killed in the movie. Now, I don't want to see that. I'm not interested in that bloodiness, but that's also, I don't know, it's part of this story as it's being told. It's not like something that I what do you think about that?
Well, I should have sunglasses I can put on to say, when I've advised Hollywood movies,
That's right.
one thing that I often tell these people is, these stories that we're reading in the sagas, say, or in the Eddas, are being written down by people who are generations later than these stories were originally told, and they are to some degree adjusting those stories to their current audience.
Yeah.
I am fine with people adjusting these stories to their current audience. Again, if you want to see the original, go back to the original. I do think that, but people don't want to because people don't want to read, they want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I think that another example of this that maybe made the story not work quite so well to me was his relationship with Calypso.
Oh, yeah.
That is made really, really different. So for one thing, we don't have the island of the Lotus Eaters. Instead, Calypso is feeding the lotus to Odysseus, and that's why he's staying with her.
Right.
In the original, it's not that clear that he's that unhappy there.
He's pretty unhappy. It's with Cersei. He stays with Cersei for a whole year in the original until his men say, "Hey, let's go back to Ithaca." And then he's like, but he's happy with Cersei that whole year.
And like I said, I think in the Telegony they actually do have a son. So at least ancient fanfic.
Yeah, but Calypso, he's much more miserable. He's able to he goes in these periods of forgetting and coming back, and they use the lotus drug as an excuse here.
People cry a lot.
In the original.
In the original,
They talked about crying in the movie, but nobody cried except Penelope maybe once.
I was struck by the fact that they mentioned it, but when you read Old Norse literature all the time, I guess I hadn't read something from Greece in a long time because I was like, oh my God, these guys are crying all the time.
Do the Norse saga people
man,
cry?
No.
Exactly. I knew it.
Yeah.
So but we're in the wonderful West at the moment, right? In beautiful Colorado. That's right. And there's something that I think is part of the culture here, well known, and is used as a kind of an ideal, a masculine ideal that comes in Hollywood and cinema, and is from not from this part of the country, but is certainly endemic here. Is the stoic masculine archetype, and I used to kind of think of that as the masculine archetype because that's mostly in American culture. Then I moved to Italy and I learned that actually emoting, crying, and expressing emotion about all kinds of things, the way you read about it in ancient literature, including not the Aeneid. Aeneas is kind of but certainly the Odyssey and the Iliad, lots of tears. It's a lot of crying, and it seems really weird, especially being an English speaker and coming from northern or northwestern Europe or from the United States, and then reading in the Odyssey, there's a lot of crying that Odysseus cries more than all the rest of the women put together in the Odyssey. I mean, it is his story, and
but it's
it's entirely masculine.
It's stunning. Well, because I was reading this on Kindle, right?
Yeah.
And so the first couple times that I see, tears or weep or something, like highlighting it, like, oh man, I'm going to come back to this. Wow, a man weeps. And like it happens every page. I'm like,
And this doesn't happen
Wow.
in the Northern European
Zero.
thing. Yeah,
Men
it's a
do
very
not
different
cry.
culturally. And this is again why the Odyssey is not merely a myth that is of the entire world. I think it is for the entire world, and every person wants to read about it, to learn the language, to study it. But it is from a very specific place where they still today even share a lot of characteristics with the people in the ancient epic, including that.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of my attitude toward Norse stuff too, right? And I think this has actually oddly resulted in me having a pretty good relationship with a lot of Scandinavian scholars. As I say, like, I'm not trying to take this from Scandinavia.
Right.
I am trying to apply this and teach this elsewhere. Like, I don't pretend this is mine,
Right.
if you see what I mean.
We're borrowing it. We're
Yeah,
inhabiting
yeah,
it
yeah.
as
It belongs, in a sense, it belongs to me as much as it belongs to you. It belongs to anybody who wants to take the effort to approach it in its as much its original state as you can.
Yeah.
As soon as you're adapting it, I'm pretty much fine with what you decide as far as your adaptations go. I'll judge them different ways. Again, good popcorn movie. Are there things I would have done differently? Sure, I would have included the bed.
Oh boy, there's no bed, no olive branch bed. Tell us about the bed.
So when Odysseus comes home, I mean, they don't recognize each other after 20 years. He's kind of disguised, I think more disguised in the original than in the movie. And Penelope asks him
He's not disguised at all. I mean, in the original, Athena changes his appearance frequently, physically changing shape and size, and appearance from being very old and small and hunched over to being regal and strong, and literally changes his size and appearance multiple occasions back and forth on Ithaca.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't see somebody for 20 years, would you recognize them without photographs and such?
Well, you know what you can do? You can blind them, which is Eumaeus is blind, played by, I can't remember his name. He was in Spawn. Actually, think
John Leguizamo.
That's it. Thank you. I think he played the role very, very well.
Actually, yes, one of the two standout roles. Actually, I thought it was good. But he was blind, which is when you know the original character and what he does. I thought it really neutered his ability as a character to be effective. Because there's supposed to be four of them at the end, murdering suitors left and right, and it's, oh boy, the original's great. You got to read it or hear it on an audiobook. It is so much more exciting than this, because they're fighting and they have the high ground and the plan is working. But then, because there's Melanthius, who we do see Telemachus fight. It's very boring in this. Melanthius is one of the slaves of the household who ends up not being loyal to Odysseus and wants to help out the suitors, and he was like befriended by the suitors this whole time. So he goes to a storeroom and gets shields and spears and throws them to him. And when Telemachus, I'm going to forget his name, Philoetius, and Eumaeus and Odysseus, when four of them found this is going on, they realized, okay, we need to do something to stop this. And Eumaeus and I think Philoetius, they go back into the storeroom and they string them up. It's pretty brutal, but you're supposed to enjoy it as a kind of revenge thing. As I think as the reader you're supposed to, or you're supposed to be happy that, okay, good, this guy was not helping. But there's all these ups and downs, and Telemachus and Odysseus are fighting back to back and helping each other out. They remove Telemachus from the same room in this whole thing, and it's just, and Odysseus he is failing way more than original. I don't know. I was disappointed. Well,
in that,
you're making me come around. Actually, this point is making me come around to maybe shaving a half star off because of the following. What is the heart of the Odyssey? Right.
What is the heart of the Odyssey? What is it about? Is it about sea peoples?
I think it's about. I think it's about coming home, right? More of the book is about that. More of the book is him on Ithaca coming home than anything else.
From book 13 to 24, the whole second half of it is Ithaca, and there's no more time jumping pretty much from there.
So I think we need to say that's the core.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I saw that was adapted and changed, I thought, well, this helps a 21st century audience get the satisfaction of that core ending. It helps us get to that.
What
right?
does?
some of the changes made. Like, okay, let's cut the Phaeacians again. I don't remember what to call that in English. Um, okay, we can make Calypso forcibly keep him, whatever. Like, okay, but we're gonna get to the emotional resonance of the homecoming Ithaca, and it's gonna be kind of worth it to sort of cut.
Oh
some of
boy,
these
I
other
thought it was so terribly done.
It wasn't.
With Penelope. Wasn't bad. Like as a movie, it was fine, but when you know the original, it's like this doesn't come close.
But the bed is cool because she asks him a trick question to find out if it's really Odysseus. She says, "Well, if you're going to," she's like, just basically move the bed.
Yeah, we'll move the bed out here. So it's so great in the original because she isn't, like you were saying, isn't sure she recognizes him because he's still wearing these rags because he was Athena had made him look like just like a beggar, tokos, and it is so exciting. So even after he with Telemachus, who recognizes him and accepts him as his father, although he was an infant, he just accepts it because Eumaeus, who can see in the original, tells him, "Yes, this is your father. We can recognize him now." Oh my gosh, I got sidetracked by my own. I'm not rage, but frustration.
Sing Muse, the rage.
Oh my gosh.
Ranieri.
Always got so much manis meste. What were we talking about?
We're talking about the bed.
The bed. Oh, so it's so great because she is cautious. She's like, so Penelope is the intellectual and spiritual equal of Odysseus in the original.
Why is Penelope? She's called constantly.
Yeah.
Constant epithet.
I thought this Penelope was fine, but didn't. I would have liked to have a lot more of her sagacity in this. There was a lot of manufactured, I thought, conflict between her and Telemachus, which I thought was really odd.
Didn't need it. Yeah.
No.
Took up screen time that I didn't understand why it was dedicated to it exactly.
I'll roll back to that.
The bed. The bed is carved out of a tree trunk.
Out of a tree
So
trunk.
it can't be moved. It's planted.
There's a whole
Only Odysseus knows that, so she says, "Oh my God, you're my husband," and it's actually sort of movingly described in this.
Oh, it's beautifully described.
3,200 years.
He gets mad at her saying, "What are you talking about?" So he says, like, "I'm Odysseus. I killed all the suitors." Penelope comes down. She's being cautious. Like, I don't know if you're really you. And then she uses this trick to say, "Move the bed." And then he gets angry at her. "I carved it with my own hands. You should know that." And then she breaks into weeping and tears, and they both do, and they embrace. And they're so happy to be with each other. Finally, all this suffering is at an end. Does that even happen in this movie?
And then the Odyssey earns its R rating.
No.
But no, it doesn't. And then they go into the West like they're elves in Lord of the Rings.
What was that? What was the going into the West to wait for civilization to come back? And what Telemachus be king of Ithaca, which will be destroyed by the collapse of the Bronze Age?
No, we need to lead into the telegony. He needs to go meet his son with Circe.
Oh, God.
So my Bronze Age fanfic.
So I enjoyed watching this film, but because I enjoy thinking about all the stuff that the filmmaker, I was going to make it plural, but I guess it's just one dude who's mostly doing most of it, thought he could do better than the original. It's just like, I think you need to read it, listen to it, especially because if you have a dramatic reading, that really helps you feel the story and enjoy what's going on. But
you know what? The actors did a good job with the lines they had. I didn't think anybody did.
Yeah, I think the IMAX thing, where you only have 3 minutes and you have these different cuts. Like Telemachus, when he's talking to him, oh God, did I hate Menelaus.
Who was that guy? I couldn't remember that.
So Sparta in the original is this. It's happy now. It's been almost 10 years since Helen and Menelaus were united. And they got over all of their troubles, and they've been happy as a middle-aged couple now for a while. And they're celebrating, which is said in the movie, his daughters, their daughters, getting married, which is for the occasion for the festivities, and it's a jolly time. But he says it, he's playing it like he's Don Corleone. Like, what do you got?
My daughter's wedding.
The day of my daughter's wedding. Almost with that accent. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this parody? And I was, at the same time as it's been super awkward because Helen and Menelaus look like they really hate each other. Helen has been scarred, implied because Menelaus beat her.
Strongly implied.
And it's just like, that's not, like, do we need this? in Sparta, Telemachus is there for a while with Nestor's son, by the way. They're having a great time. We see a little bit of the hunting, and they're playing discus, and they're having like a really good time. And he keeps saying, wow, Menelaus is just such a great host, but I need to get home. But nice chat with you guys. But the dark and coldness of the whole thing, I was acted well by the actors, but I didn't like that portrayal of the
very
of the Sparta.
menacing Agamemnon was good.
The menacing Agamemnon?
He was menacing.
When?
I mean, just he had a quiet sort of, authority to him that was menacing.
Oh, because he was like Batman.
He was kind of like Batman. His armor definitely was like Batman.
He was not like
Batman with the spinal column on the back of his helmet. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. I would have liked any kind of armor that didn't look like that. But it was pretty armor. But it made him very recognizable. But you have to make it look like it's made of plastic.
Plastic and maybe a human skeleton. That was interesting. I think I realized.
Show us the weeping, I wrote. Show us the weeping.
Yeah, they really kind of don't.
No. I've wept so much, says Odysseus. When? Also, wait, other hot take. Matt Damon, love him as an actor. I thought he was great. Like in Interstellar, he was so great. I was thinking that I was mentioning this before we started. He was marooned in Interstellar, kind of like Odysseus, and went crazy.
Oh, he's marooned in The Martian.
And marooned in The Martian, like Odysseus. Like, man, he's like Odysseus in space. And then he plays Odysseus. Like, oh, that makes sense. And seeing him, I think he was the terrible casting for Odysseus.
Oh, really?
Not because he's not a fantastic actor, and I think he is a great actor, and I really like him on almost everything. I just thought it was this PTSD version of the character, which is kind of fine, but there's something so kind of like Odysseus is relatively humble, but not that humble and soft-spoken. He's very confident about what he does well when he's not lying, and he does lie a lot. It makes up a lot of stories. That's in this film, and that was all good. But
Odysseus Polytropos.
Yeah, a complicated man, you might say. Well, Jackson, if you like, we'll continue this in the future.
Are we done with all our thoughts on the Odyssey?
I'm not.
Nay.
Hey!
Oh no!
Oh no! The popcorn.
It bled.
It bled. Well, from Colorado, we're wishing you all the best. Eros te.
Eroso.